France and Germany are now supporting the U.S.-Israeli action against Iran. Yippee! The Brits say they support a collective effort, whatever the hell that means. But they haven't agreed to let the United States use their bases. They'll come around because the alternative is losing even more credibility on the world stage. And let's be honest, folks. If it weren't for the United States, much of Europe would be walking in lockstep speaking German right now. So, why the sudden shift? Simple. They waited to see the results. And once again, as history shows, they ride America's coattails. Now let's talk about today's Democratic Party, shall we? You know, the party that proclaims to the highest from the highest mountain that they are the party of the people, the party of the working class, the party of the oppressed. Folks, it's sad to say that today's Democratic Party is a shell of what it once was and has become, in many ways, the best friend Iran and its proxies can have. How so, you say? Well, every time Israel responds, every time the U.S. moves to deter Tehran, a faction inside the Democratic Party immediately condemns the intervention, while old-school, mainstream Democrats remain silent. Now, you would think that Democrats would pay attention to what's going on in the world, would listen to Iranians at home and abroad who have publicly condemned the Ayatollah's regime for decades and now overwhelmingly support President Trump's decision to intervene militarily. Instead, Democrats ask for proof of why military action was necessary. I understand that Representative Swalwell was heard saying, "I see no threat coming from Iran." Hello? Where have you been for the last 50 years, you moron? Since 1979, the Iranian regime has funded proxies, destabilized the region, and has targeted and killed Americans. Now, suddenly, Democrats have selective amnesia. Let's stop pretending, shall we? There is a faction inside today's Democratic Party that is openly hostile to Israel. Members of the squad, including Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, and Rashida Tlaib, have repeatedly criticized Israeli intervention and pushed to restrict or condition U.S. aid. Let's be clear. The Iranian regime funds and arms Hamas, Hezbollah, the Palestinian Authority, the Palestinian Jihad, Palestinian Islamic Jihad. So when the United States and Israel act to counter Iranian-backed threats, and the loudest voices on the left immediately condemn Israel and the U.S., what does Tehran see? Tehran sees, oh, we have friends in Congress. They see division in Washington. They see political infighting. They see an opportunity to stall using the fake diplomacy and the same false promises they've used for 50 years. And presidents on both sides of the aisle have been waltzing with these people and putting up with their crap and lies for the last 50 years. Perceived weakness and uncertainty on our parts invites escalation, folks. It emboldens our enemies. For decades, support for Israel and resistance to Iranian expansion has received bipartisan support. Today, that consensus is cracking. It is important that America speak with one voice, undivided, in their efforts to, in their efforts to undermine America first and President Trump in times of conflict. The Democrats are quick to cite the Constitution. a document that Democrats feel needs revision. But now they're quick to cite the Constitution and the War Powers Act. Fine. Read it carefully. Presidents have long exercised authority to authorize limited military action without a formal declaration of war. And let's be real clear about something else. Why was and is the president reluctant to share information with Congress? In a political climate where information leaks are or have become the routine, caution in operational secrecy isn't paranoia, it's common sense. You can bet your ass that if information had been shared, it would have been leaked. Now, I ask clear-thinking, traditional Democrats, those who are often termed Kennedy Democrats, as I stated before, who were part of America's greatest generation and always put forth an America First posture. Can you honestly say today's party or today's Democratic Party reflects your values? From opposing voter ID laws, to opposing ICE enforcement, to embracing candidates like Zoran Swami Mamdani, to being repulsed by the term America First, to opposing strikes against a regime that has brutally suppressed, murdered, and maimed its own people. Ask yourself, is this still the party you grew up with? Or has it changed? Does it still reflect your values? If not, why the hell do you keep re-electing these people and electing like-minded individuals? Because you don't do your homework, folks, and you need to start doing your homework on your candidates and find out what they stand for. History keeps score. The Father in heaven keeps score from a humanitarian perspective. Now is the time for unity. One voice, one objective, an America First mindset. You've been listening to Real Talk with Moccio. I'm the G-Man, Gordon A. Moccio, they call me, and we'll see you next time. Before I leave you, may the blessings of heaven rest upon you and members of your family. Until next time, my friends, God bless.